Previously on The Big Break.
We didn't know what you guys had in store for us. We drove up there and it's speed golf.
An unusual skills challenge with a lot at stake.
The winning team doesn't have to go to the elimination challenge.
The guys took pace of play to a new extreme.
I'm too old for this.
With a speed challenge victory, Randy, Justin, and Mark sat out the elimination challenge.
That was awesome, man. Stripes, man.
The elimination challenge had the guys hitting long and straight drives, and Jeff was on the ropes.
Dadgummit, I'll try to get through.
Let's go home, Jeff.
With Jeff gone, 5 remain. 4 will make an exit, leaving just 1, earning his big break.
Little bitty stinging drops.
Soda pop.
Great big drops.
Somehow me and Soda have a weird relationship.
Hey guys, how are you?
All right.
You got your rain gear on?
You have it with us.
Yeah. What do you think about this weather? Y'all practice in the rain at all?
Well, we play in the rain if we have to.
Yeah. Mark, you're ready for anything.
Well, it could start raining really heavy out here, and I just want to make sure the guys have enough towels.
Oh.
I have long johns. Something
that's...
they don't know about because it can get cold out there.
I haven't played in rain in over a year. I mean, I had to get pretty psyched to do that. We were just, I think, mentally just trying to get all prepared for the weather.
What's the strategy with one towel?
It's the only one I had.
Really?
I think he's got the rest.
Yeah.
What do you think about one of us getting eliminated here and being down to 4?
It's got to be done, but I don't like it.
Bring us down.
I don't think any of us like it.
Yeah.
I think it's actually probably going to be Rick that's going off that show. I haven't really seen him hit a lot of shots out there, and I think he's going to come in cold. We've been working on our games, and quite frankly, it's Rick or Catherine.
Yeah.
Wow, now the field's in half. Top 5. We've had some weather issues and a lot of sitting around and waiting for things to be right, and we were anxious to get things going.
How you feeling today?
Good. Good.
Yeah? We're gonna have to slug it out a little bit today, I think, in this weather.
It's going to be hit and miss most of the day, but you know, as you guys know in competition, if it's not lightning, if the golf course is playable, you're playing.
Yeah.
You got to go out and gut it out, but it's not like you're playing 18 holes today. You've got a couple competitions that we cannot reveal to you right now, but you just got to gut it out. You know, I'm just curious about you, Craig. You play in the competition in the rain. What's your attitude about it?
Well, in the weeks of experience I've had, usually the rain's been accompanied by lightning, so we haven't had a chance yet to really go out and test what it's like in the rain. But you're right, you just gotta gut it out, say everybody's gotta play under the same conditions, and go do your best.
Yeah.
Justin, you've played a lot probably in competition, probably more so than some of the other guys. Competitively, what's your attitude about it?
The rain I found it has more of a mental challenge than anything. In any tournament that I play in, it seems like it eliminates half the field. Guys just, it's a mental, it wears you out mentally, which wears you out physically. It's just a lot of work.
Everything takes a little longer.
Yeah,
You got to be more patient, it seems like.
Absolutely. Patience is a big key in the rain.
Dry gloves, good rain suits. I see you got your rain suit on, Anthony. You ready to go? You're gonna be soaked.
Okay,
guys, let's
come
go.
on.
All right.
It's turning more into like golf tournament since there's less people. Mostly it's just survival. So the strategies, I think it's gonna be changing. I think we're gonna have to start hitting better golf shots.
Okay, guys, here we are. We're down to 5. Rick's gonna tell you a little bit about what you're gonna be facing today.
Guess what? We're playing golf. We're gonna play golf. We're not gonna be hitting in a bucket. We're not gonna be hitting it over this or over that or in this or around that.
In the Par 5 Challenge, the rules are simple. The competitors will play a hole of golf, and the player with the best score wins the mulligan. If there's a tie, those players will replay the hole.
You're playing a great little par 5. We're obviously elevated about 60 feet down the hill here. You're not going to get any roll in the fairway, it doesn't look like, because we've had that rain this morning. But still, the hole is not playing probably even longer than 5-10. So a good tee shot's going to put you in a situation where you can knock it on. Now, this is for the mulligan that you're going to need for the elimination series.
And not only is it for the mulligan, but it's for the Golden Tee 2004 video game that you guys have been playing all week.
Is that any good? You know, I can see you guys putting that in your car in the back seat when you're going to the next tournament.
That's something else.
It's pretty cool. But I think you guys are probably excited to play a hole. You know, I mean, it's time, and we've been doing a lot of fun things, but this is going to be a key mulligan.
We're all like, it is about time. We get to play a hole of golf, and it's a par 5, which I'm sure, you know, for all of us, it's the holes we like to birdie. It's where we make, you know, get under par. There it is.
Hey, check your clubs, make sure you got 14. I think I only brought 14 though, so.
Well, here we go. This is fun. This is real fun.
I've actually got my strategy of just trying to hit it hard, and if I get a great tee shot, then I'm out there with these guys. I mean, for me to be able to beat these guys on straight up holes, I've got to have play to my strengths. I really wanted to hit that drive down there, and, you know, big, cut the corner. I thought I was going to shock the heck out of these guys. I was thinking eagle the entire way.
I'm pretty far left. He'll find it.
Okay.
The wind was helping us. You know, it was great. We were all very excited for that.
That's perfect there.
Nice shot.
The way I played the hole, just drive off the bunker. The wind took it a little too far and up in the rough, but I was happy with that.
I'm just happy to get it out there pretty good.
If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't hit driver off the tee.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
That's right at the bunker.
The bunker was 305. I'm thinking it's really wet out there. You know, the ball's going to stick in the ground. You know, and then I hit it in the bunker. Thanks.
I feel like I've got a pretty well-rounded game. I feel like my strength is my mind, but it's survival mode. You know, you're just trying to survive. You just got to be patient. I know if I hit the shots that I'm capable of, then I'm going to be hard to beat.
That's perfect.
Great.
Nice shot, Justin.
Very solid. He's in a very reachable position.
It's turning more into like golf tournament since there's less people. Mostly it's just survival. So the strategies, I think it's gonna be changing. I think we're gonna have to start hitting better golf shots.
He's hitting a little draw. Playing the wind. He wants to ride the wind out a little bit here. Good tee shots, guys. We're gonna head down to the second shot.
Okay.
We know Mark has missed his tee ball substantially left.
Mark, did you find it?
I think it's back a little further because it was hooking kind of quick. I was thinking it was gonna. Yeah, I was thinking it was back in this area. The native fescue.
You go.
Okay. Good.
Is it a red one?
Yes.
Okay.
I must have walked right over it.
I can't.
Mark to the left. Green line.
There's a green line, Mark. You can see it from the
Oh, you
side.
see it?
Yeah, right there.
Oh yeah, that's me. Cool.
I must have walked.
All right.
I walked right over it.
He's probably playing a mid-iron. Didn't get it out of the rough.
After that drive, I just got a little bit ticked off. I thought I lost the ball and I'd find it. And elation finding the ball, and then dipped the shoulder down really hard trying to get at it and just chunked it out of there.
Mark's in trouble, and he's glad this is not the elimination side, because he doesn't look like he's gonna really compete here. Craig's at about 219, and out of the rough, looking at his lie, it's a very good lie.
My approach shot was a 4-iron. Probably would have been a 3, but wind was helping, had a little flyer lie. End it, go, 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 go. Didn't hit it great, but I hit it to a good start, smart, safe spot where I could chip up and make a birdie.
Now here's the deal. He's a little confused. It's downwind, we know it, but he just threw the grass up and it came back in his face, so it swirls down here.
After Mark hit and Craig hit short left, I hit a 5-iron up there, which I thought I hit a pretty good shot. I hit a little thin. I think the wind actually knocked it down rather than helping. It came up a little short. And I felt like I was in the driver's seat. I felt like, I felt like I got an easy birdie, easy up and down, make birdie, and these guys have to work to make birdie.
I lucked out. I mean, it should have rolled in the trap, but I missed it just right. And I had a flyer. It was a little bit of flyer lie and setting up to hook it, and you couldn't miss left. So I was just gonna take a little more club and try to cut it back up into the breeze and just leave it on the front of that green. And I caught a little off the hosel and went right, and actually had a real easy up and down chance.
Here's Randy in the bunker.
Randy ripped his tee shot, and it's going to be interesting to see whether he's going for the green or laying it up in front.
The only thing that takes me out of a par 5 is the bunker. If I get in a rough or I hit it in the trees, I can still hit a pretty good shot and try to get by the green in 2 and make birdie. I had 212 to the front edge, so I tried to hit a little 9-iron down there and get me to about 80 yards where I'm pretty comfortable with my lob wedge. Kind of hit a little bit thin, hit the real tall fescue around the bunker, and now I got 163 downhill, downwind, and my 9-iron's 150, so I'm thinking it's just going to be, I'm pumped up, it's going to be just too long. So I hit my pitching wedge as hard as I could hit it.
It's a wedge. He told me he hit a wedge. He hits a wedge that hits just right at the pin, a little long, and spins back down real close. And we're like, okay, we're thinking he's going to make 4.
So I was very happy. As a matter of fact, I'm glad I hit first. Thank you.
I figured Justin, I figured he was making birdie.
Justin has to watch that this shot is he doesn't want it to get away from him.
So I was, again, in the driver's seat. It was looking like, me, and I hit a real nice chip.
In the par 5 challenge, Craig, Anthony, and Justin are in good shape. They are greenside in 2. Randy struggled out of a fairway bunker, but hit a good 3rd shot to 10 feet. Mark is in trouble. He is hitting 4 from the fairway.
Mark's hitting 4. He has to get it up and down for par. A birdie will win the hole, or tie the hole, so he's got to hold the shot.
No, don't do that. Seeing balls right up there by the green, I knew I had to hold that one, so I tried to get cute with it instead of just playing a normal high shot, and I tried to hit a low spinning shot and didn't bring my body through close to the face. So, well, I can still hold out for a 5 and miracles happen.
Craig came up way short. It didn't jump out of that lie like he expected. He's got a fairly simple pitch because the shot that he's going to hit, there's a ridge to the left of the hole that is almost like a backstop.
My little wedge pitch shot in about a foot short of where I was looking, and it didn't release to the hole, kind of went off to the left.
Okay, now behind us, Anthony. He's got a little lob wedge, and he actually does not have a difficult pitch.
I was between using my 59, putting a little air under it, or using the 54, and I actually went with the 59, and just the wrong play. I need to send it way higher and a little bit harder, but looked pretty fast down to where the flag was, and I figured Justin, I figured he was making birdie.
Justin has to watch that this shot is he doesn't want it to get away from him. It's downhill the whole way, breaking to the right.
Anthony didn't hit a very good shot. Craig didn't hit a very good shot. So I was, again, in the driver's seat, looking like it's going to be me. And I hit a real nice chip, hit it right on my spot. Thought I made it when it left the club, and it just rolled and it just ran out. It was a little quicker than I thought. Wow, that was fast.
Mark has to hold this and hope that everybody else misses for him to be in this.
Okay.
Pick up.
He's out of it,
Just
he
said he's
knows
gonna
it,
pick up, yeah.
and that's fine, because he doesn't, at this point now, it's going to be a little more of a putting contest than I expected.
Justin, me, and I think Craig had the best looks at birdies, and looked pretty fast down to where the flag was. And I figured Justin, I figured he was making birdie. I thought birdies would probably push actually.
That actually drifted back to the right at the end. Now Craig's putt's going to be breaking off this ridge to the right.
Good effort, Craig.
It did drop quite a bit. Yeah, it was a good putt. Randy, this putt is about 10 feet. It's going to break a little bit to his left. Oh, what a four.
Nice putt.
Great four out of that bunker, I'll tell you. Now Justin knows he needs to tie this to go to a playoff, or Randy's taking that video game that he says he's probably going to have to learn to play. But that mulligan he's really looking at. Now this putt breaks a little left. It's got a little speed to it. Oh, he pushed it. Little jabby looking putt. Randy's going to win the mulligan.
Randy dropped, solid putt right in the center, and I got up there and I missed. It's just a game of golf. Sometimes you think you're in the driver's seat and things just flip turn real quick.
Randy, good job. Great up and down after that bomb you hit off the tee at about 310 yards. You win the Golden Tee video game that you need to learn how to play.
That'll be a donation to the golf shop.
Is it?
And the all-important mulligan, as Randy said.
And the mulligan will be the mulligan I was focused on.
Attaboy, great birdie.
You guys are about to witness another new experience for the elimination, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised what you're going to run into. And I'll just give you a hint: Seve Ballesteros.
And take that away with you. We'll see you there. Okay.
I think everyone thinks to themselves personally that they go, all right, it's raining. I got an advantage today. If I can just keep it together.
Here we are, elimination challenge. We have 5. One of you will be eliminated today, but then obviously 4 will be one step closer to the Canadian Tour.
Randy, you have the mulligan, which you can use at any time that you prefer. I'd like to explain a little bit about the shot that you're about to hit. You have some options. Basically, you're going to be hitting from a cube that is designated by the white paint. The option that you have is to go over the tree. It's 61 yards to the front edge, plus it's 14 to the hole. You have also an option to do a little bump and run. Now here's the objective. You're going to be hitting the shot from here, and then you're going to play the shot out. So relative to the strategy, you're going to want to put yourself in position to obviously finish the hole. You've all been in this position before. You've hit a shot where you don't like where you've hit it. You have to be creative from that point. This is what you're going to see on the tour. You're going to see the best players in the world get in these positions all the time. A lot of them get out making birdie. Now here's the interesting thing. If you make a 1 or a 2, and you're the first to do so, you're going to win a club car golf cart.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
In the Course Management Elimination Challenge, the competitors will play 2 holes from trouble situations. the player with the highest cumulative score for the 2 holes will be eliminated.
The heat's on, you know it. It's time to perform. The guy that doesn't, highest score, cumulative from both sides. Right side here, left side's a different situation altogether, is out, okay? So let's have at it, guys.
It was a 75-yard shot. Either you could lob it up over the trees or you can hit it low. The key thing for me was we got to place the golf ball. If we get to drop the golf ball, I'm not hitting it high.
Oh, that's a great looking
Nice shot.
Get in the hole.
Nice shot, Randy.
Great shot. These guys have been standing around, you know, with this rain delay. First shot out of the box, he hits a 75-yard sandwich over a 90-foot tree. Tell you what, the guy can play.
I had planned on, when I originally saw it, to go over the tree because I can get the ball up pretty quick when I need to and still advance it, 75 yards if I need to. Randy got up there and hit a great shot up and over the tree. Fortunately, he took that one nice spot and made a big divot, but fortunately I could find another spot to get a good lie in.
Oh, okay. Just cleared the tree. Oh, that's a great golf shot.
Nice shot.
About 8 feet right of the hole. Tremendous, Justin. Good shot.
Nice shot.
Hitting that 60-degree shot, I really only learned how to hit it the other day with Randy. And I had a lot of motivation watching Randy walk up and stick it on the green. I didn't really lay the face of the club open a lot, so I dipped my shoulder down just a little bit. Got way in behind the ball shot up in the air. I didn't catch enough of the ball to carry on to the green. And I was pretty disappointed with the shot.
Go up and down from there.
I think everyone thinks to themselves personally that they go, all right, it's raining. I got an advantage today. If I can just keep it together.
Oh, wow, that's a good break.
Get up, get up, get up, get up. I wanted to hit the sandwich, but I ran out of good lies. And the very first thing I thought was, I'm real good at flopping it. When I said first instinct, button down the hatches, take the shot you're gonna play.
Anthony went up and went low, and I was going low all the way because I'm a lefty. That angle I had didn't fit my eye. I was going low all the way. I didn't get through it enough. I didn't judge it. I had to clear some rough, and I just didn't clear the rough enough to let it release back to the hole.
Come on, guy. Let's play well. I think that scrambling is one part of the game that I'm pretty good at.
Oh, well done. Well done here.
Nice shot, Mark.
That's a great shot.
My next shot in was pretty good, pretty aggressive, but I ran it a little too far past the hole.
This ball's going to kick to the right, and I think he's tuned in. He's a little bit upset at his earlier chip shot.
Oh, nice shot.
Great golf shot. He's looking at a 3. This is for 3. Oh, missed it.
Oh, gosh.
All right, he makes 4.
I've been working on my putting for about 2 years now. That's probably the worst part of my game.
Golf cart.
But, and then I make the putt for the club car, so it's pretty awesome.
If there was ever a time I wished I wasn't inside, didn't get it closer than him, it was then. I wish I got the putt first because you guys threw a little twist in it. The first person to make a 2 wins a golf cart, which is still a great, phenomenal prize. I missed my putt again, same type of thing, didn't break.
With all this moisture, the ball never broke as much. When Mark is now looking to try to create a bad situation for Craig. Craig makes 4. This putt is for 3, and Craig is the one,
right,
obviously, that's 2 back of you.
Putting is one of the best parts of my game right now, and was feeling no pressure whatsoever.
How about that?
Great roll.
You know what? That guy is
great roll, Moose.
He is a fighter.
Craig's going to have to do something to beat me on the next hole because, I knew it was another scrambling hole, and again, scrambling I think is usually a pretty good part of my game.
Big time 3. Good up and down.
one guy made 2, the other 3 guys made 3, I made 4 with one challenge left to go.
I thought, go for the great shot. You know, don't just punch it out to the left side, because you know what? I've messed up punches too. So I might as well go for the good one. If I mess it up, I mess it up.
Through the first half of the elimination challenge, Randy sits atop the leaderboard. Craig finds himself at the bottom and needs to make up a stroke on the final hole if he wants to continue.
Play well. Play well.
Randy's looking good, and he knows it, and he's going to hit a little left side shot here.
Position number 2, that was terrible. My first thought, and I'm really glad I walked up to the green, because my first thought, I'm going to the right, I'm going to hit the green to the right, and I'm going to, 2-putt. You hit the green to the right, there's no chance for a 2-putt. You're 3-putt. So I elected to hit it left because it kind of sloped to the right to the bunker, and I figured even if I hit it in a bunker, I'll be fine.
Great shot. Randy hit another great golf shot. He put himself in a position. It's an uphill pitch. He makes 3. He's perfect.
I thought, go for the great shot. You know, don't just punch it out to the left side, because you know what? I've messed up punches too. So I might as well go for the good one. If I mess it up, I mess it up.
It looks like his decision is to play to the left. He doesn't feel comfortable hitting a hook.
Good shot. Good shot, Nate. That's a good shot. Nice and safe.
Once Craig made a 4, that definitely changed my strategy. I knew I just make a 3, forces him to make a 2, which would have been phenomenal on that hole, because it was almost impossible to get close to that pin. I did exactly what my strategy was, hit it left of the green.
I had the advantage of going last, going 5th, and seeing where the other guys went, and that turned out to be key. Took an 8-iron, hooded it down, and hooked it around the tree, and put it just off the left side of the green, which is a perfect spot to make a 3.
Mark has the toughest shot that he's ever had to face. To get this up and down, he'd have to be Phil Mickelson. The other players have the advantage at being right on the upslope with an easy pitch. You look at Mark, he's got a tight lie, it's wet. This is a tough golf shot right here. Here we go. Yeah. Now here's what's interesting, okay? There's the 4 that Craig wants to see. And what he did, he didn't open the face at all. He had a very low trajectory, safe type of shot. I mean, destined for 4. Anthony makes 3. He knows he goes home in a good position tonight. It released. It was a great golf shot. Looks like Mark's away. And this, again, is very helpful for Craig to see. He knows that if Mark misses the putt, he gets it up and down, they go to a playoff.
Great putt. I had to come up over a rise with my putts, and I wasn't chipping. You know, it was all putt.
Right over the sprinkler hat. Well, I'll tell you what, Randy is 2 putts to make 6, and he's in good shape. So, I mean, he's sitting pretty. Justin knows he makes 6. He's playing in the next series. He's in the Final 4.
It's too low.
If Craig gets this up and down, he's in a playoff. I'll tell you, that's a great shot right there. Excellent pitch.
Good shot, Craig. Good shot.
That's super. Randy, 2 putts. He makes 6. He's safe.
I had a mulligan, didn't use it. I didn't need to use it.
Randy you know, showing his stripes. The guy's really been a real tough competitor. Justin's, this is the most important 6.5 footer of his life, because he could go home in a playoff environment.
I got over the putt, you know, after just missing 2 putts pretty similar length. And I just told myself, you know, you don't miss 3 in a row like this. You know, this is straight up the hill. Let's put it on the right edge. Don't give the hole away. And I just kept my head down and listened for it. I didn't see it go in, so it'd be nice to watch it. Just listened for it, heard it go in. It was a beautiful sound. Looked up, went and picked it out of the hole.
Mark knows he's in a playoff environment and has the risk to go home. Anthony makes this. He's sitting pretty.
Woo! Come on, Craig. All right, Nate, good roll, buddy.
Craig has to make this putt to go into a playoff with Mark, and he obviously misses it. He's going home.
Good putt.
I was pleased that Craig made his putt and we went to the playoff. I thought, you know, I deserved what I got on that hole. He deserved what he got on that hole. Let's go see how we move on.
I was actually, the thing that was going through my mind was I was looking forward to hitting the first shot again under the tree. And I was going to do the same club, same shot, and just hit it a little better.
Randy, Justin, and Anthony have played their way through to the next show. But Craig and Mark have some work to do if they want to continue. They will have to battle it out in a sudden death playoff to determine which player advances and which gets sent packing.
Well, the first hole in the playoff was, you know, we almost repeated the whole challenge all over again. And I had tried the same shot literally all over again.
The shot that he hit earlier, he opened the face and he hit a kind of a flop and he cut it and he lost his distance. I'm a little surprised he's gonna do this again. Yeah, he did it again.
Get up.
Hit the same 6-degree shot, very similar result. Still hit my shoulder down a little bit less that time. I had a conscious thought that time to do, you know, not to do it.
Now watch this. Now we've got Craig. He's gonna do a little bump and run.
I was actually, the thing that was going through my mind was I was looking forward to hitting the first shot again under the tree. And I was going to do the same club, same shot, and just hit it a little better. I took my 6-iron again, hooded it down, and it just came off perfect this time. It went through the rough, it rolled up. I think it neither nicked the pin or it hit the cup. I'm not sure. I was pretty far away.
Right. Buddy. Buddy.
You know what? It was a good thing you made 2 for that club car.
I know, I love
that
that car.
thing goes in, it's over, it's gone.
Craig, great shot.
Great shot.
Great shot, Craig.
Guys, it's pretty simple. Mark does not get this up and down. He's going home.
I wanted it to hit right on the collar and then drive forward, skip once, check a little bit, and trickle. And it hit actually a little bit better than I thought when it was in the air. I was a little bit disappointed with it, and I thought it was going to come up short, and it released really well down there.
Pretty good golf shot. A little 5 feet up the hill.
Yep.
But, you know, these are the putts that you see on the tour when they count, and sometimes they're not so easy. Craig makes this. Mark's going home.
It's over.
It's over. Did he? It's just wet. It's just wet enough. It's just wet enough not to break.
Yeah.
The heat's on Mark. It's really simple. He makes. They're back to another challenge. They have to do another playoff.
Come on, Moose.
Keep it exciting, baby.
Craig doesn't have much.
Exciting now.
easily misread this putt. It looks like it's gonna come left more, but it actually doesn't. How about that? This guy is something else. He just does not stop. Let's do it again, guys.
Again.
Do it again.
Woo!
I'll tell you what, that's a hell of an up and down.
Come on, dog.
Good going, good going. Good grinding. You know, that putt you hit, you know, if it's a little bit drier, it goes in.
Yeah, I had the line, the speed. It was a little downhill. I read the break right, and
You didn't
I wasn't disappointed.
You didn't want to smoke it by the hole
Did not
either.
want to smoke it
I don't
by the
blame
hole
you,
either.
you know. But I'll tell you, Mark responded. It was a heck of a putt. You know what? Let's go do it. We're not done yet, but that was good. That was good. You just don't stop. Let's go.
You know what? You cannot get rid of me, Rick. We're going back over to the other side, and I'm just trying to stay loose. I'm making fun of Sevy and I'm just having fun with the shot.
I don't need the right to show the drama. Many times in Spain where I grew up, I learned to hit the shots with a 6-iron. Why I carry the other 13 clubs, I do not know.
I think Craig is feeling he's going to do the same thing that he did on the last time around. Mark knows he cannot be short. So let's see what happens. They're both going to the left. They're not going to take a chance to hit a hook.
Okay, good shot.
I tried again, like in the first round, to slice the ball around the tree. This time I thought I'd be smart. I dropped to an 8-iron from a 9-iron.
Man, this is not where you want it. All you can do is watch. You know, you're rooting for both of them. You know one of them is going to be leaving, and you just hope that it ends the way it should end. You know, with good golf shots.
On the first playoff hole, Mark came through with a clutch up and down to equal Craig's score of 3 and force a second playoff hole. Both players have played their first shot, and now each faces a challenging second from off the green.
If it was the roles were reversed, I don't think I could have performed like those two. You know, so I'm glad I was right where I was at, because I'd have been so nervous.
All you can do is watch. You know, you're rooting for both of them. You know one of them is going to be leaving, and you just hope that it ends the way it should end. You know, with good golf shots. You know, if somebody's going to be eliminated, let them be eliminated because they got just beat by a great shot.
The lie, I tested it a couple times, and you can probably hear me muttering on camera that this is one tight lie, and the shot is going to have to be perfect in order to pull it off.
He's stuck with just one of the hardest flop shots you could possibly imagine. Tight grass off a downslope to a tucked pin with the green growing away from him.
He's just hit a phenomenal golf shot. He's laid the face open. I didn't think he'd have the nerve to do it. And he hit a flop, and he hit a heck of a golf shot. He's got a lot of nerve to do what he just did. And now, Craig, here's the deal. Pin high. This is not a difficult lie. It's not a difficult shot. He makes 3. He's putting the heat back on Mark. He had a really great chip shot. He's got about 1.5 feet left. And a good response to the shot that Mark hit. Now Mark knows it's make or go home.
He chips another great chip up in there, pressure shot. My adrenaline picked up a step. I had to make about a, 8, 10 foot putt. It only had a few inches of break on it. I decelerated through the ball. It went a little bit right of the hole.
All right, Craig, knock that in.
Craig makes it, and Mark goes home.
He just had a downhill, maybe 6-7 footer. I had a downhill 2.5 footer. And he just slid by, decelerated a little bit on his putt, and I had a little bit easier putt, just pick a line, hit it there, and that was it.
You know, this is the kind of thing that he should be able to build on. You know, pressure is something that every golfer needs to deal with. You know, in Craig's golf career, this is going to help. It's going to help him immensely to have gone through a playoff situation like this. So, you know, I wish him well.
Now that was 2.5 feet. Was that the most important 2.5 footer that you've ever hit in your life?
To this point, I think I can easily say yes.
I am so pleased that, you know, Craig had to make a shot to beat me, you know, and I hung around with, you know, 10 of the best young undiscovered golfers in this country for, you know, 7 shows.
Well, great having you. Sorry to see you go because you've been a home run with all the guys, and the viewers really enjoyed watching, I'm sure.
It's nice to know that the guy I'm competing against is rooting for me, and he's loud about it and lets you know that he's rooting for you, and I think that's really, really cool. He's class guy.
Know your golf skills, know your strengths. Relax. Think of something that makes you laugh. Think of something funny. Can I think of you? You can think of me if I make you laugh. All right. And you relax and you hit those shots because, you know, you got over there. I pushed in this challenge, and you know, I'm really pleased that I gave it absolutely my best shot there.
Mark, by the way, that flop shot, awesome.
He went out in style. You know, he gave it his best effort, and it was his time to go. You know, and he knew that. You know, and he was gracious, and he felt that it was his time to go. He had a great ride. And, you know, he did some amazing things through the first 5 rounds, and it was fun to watch.
I have never met anybody who is such a nice guy and so funny, naturally funny. Not joke funny, but just whatever comes out of his mouth is just funny. I'm telling you, I mean, you know, he is a special guy.
Guys, one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Big break!
Safe trip, Mark.
Thanks, guys. It's really eerie to be out here right now without having the guys here. I'm gonna have to take that down.
I got along with Mark the second he walked in the room when we first met. He sat down next to me. We were chit-chatting a little bit, and I immediately knew he just had the kind of sense of humor I like. I mean, everybody likes the guy.
This isn't the finalist for The Bachelor.
Yeah, I was like, he's the comedian right there. There's one in every group, and he was the comedian.
You are now ready to go catch your flight back to New York and civilization. I stood over that wedge shot in the fairway, and I hit the best possible shot I could hit, and I missed the putt. And that's golf. No more Mark. In case the police are ever looking for me.
Next time on The Big Break, the nasty weather continues.
Here we go again. It's just going to be another one of those absolute mental challenges. That could be nasty.
The guys play a skills challenge with an international flair.
It's game on. This is fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Let me get you one out there. You know what I mean?
Emotions are on edge.
You're kidding me.
The elimination challenge pits strength against strength.
You get 2 points, it's over.
One more competitor will pack his bags. 3 will survive. Next time on The Big Break.
Pretty special time. And I am, you know, I don't know how some of the other guys have been on when they went off, but I am happy. I've gone so much farther than I thought I'd go on this show, and I've just had a great time.